2035 is being framed as the end of gas cars. Factories are retooling, governments are setting deadlines. Headlines say internal combustion is finished, but 2035 is not a destruction event, it's a production freeze. And when production freezes, supply locks, that changes everything. First, understand what the ban actually does. Before we talk about value, we need clarity. The 2035 mandates target new vehicle sales. They do not ban ownership. They do not remove existing cars from the road. They do not outlaw combustion engines already registered. What they do is stop new production. That distinction is critical. For over 100 years, internal combustion engines entered the market in endless waves. Millions per year, every year, constant replenishment. Supply was never fixed. 2035 ends that cycle. When the last combustion assembly line shuts down, that's the final addition to the pool. After that, the number only goes down. And that downward curve is permanent. There is no second production wave, no surprise restart a decade later, no hidden inventory waiting in reserve. Once manufacturers commit fully to electrification platforms, capital investment shifts permanently. Tooling changes, supply chains reorganize, engineering talent reallocates. Internal combustion stops being a growth industry. It becomes a legacy system. And legacy systems inside active economies don't disappear overnight, they tighten. But now, let's talk about what happens. When supply locks markets are not emotional, they are mathematical. Unlimited supply keeps pricing stable, fixed supply changes behavior. When production ends, the total number of combustion engines becomes finite. Some will crash, some will be scrapped, some will be neglected, some will be totaled. The pool shrinks, but demand does not disappear overnight. Millions rely on combustion for towing, long-distance driving, rural mobility, commercial fleets, from construction, agriculture, emergency services. Entire economic systems are built around torque and refueling speed. Electrification grows, yes, but infrastructure transitions take decades, not headlines. So when supply freezes and demand persists, pricing pressure begins. Not instantly, but structurally. Structural shifts are powerful because they move quietly at first. Prices don't spike in one dramatic moment. They compress, they stabilize, they resist depreciation, and then one day, as the floor stops dropping, that's when attention changes. That's where scarcity starts, separating winners from losers. Now we move from theory to reality. Not every engine becomes valuable. Scarcity does not reward everything equally. It rewards durability. Platforms that survive 250,000 to 300,000 miles. The drivetrain's mechanics trust. The blocks that can be rebuilt instead of replaced. High-torque V8 truck engines. Proven inline-six platforms. Heavy-duty commercial configurations built for stress. These engines become mechanical infrastructure. An infrastructure inside a capped supply system behaves differently than disposable goods. Disposable vehicles depreciate, infrastructure assets stabilize, and sometimes they appreciate. But production freeze alone isn't the whole story. Now add global volatility. Wars disrupt supply chains, sanctions redirect oil flows, shipping routes face pressure, energy markets swing aggressively. Oil is not just fuel, it's geopolitical leverage. When tension rises, energy pricing becomes unstable, and instability changes mobility psychology. When fuel spikes, electrification narratives surge. When electricity prices rise, charging economics tighten. When grids strain, reliability becomes critical. In volatile periods, flexibility wins. Gas vehicles refuel in minutes. They operate independently of charging networks. They do not depend on regional transformer capacity. That independence carries real-world value, especially during instability. Now, let's connect this to the electrical grid. Electrification requires infrastructure expansion at massive scale, charging networks, transmission upgrades, transformer manufacturing, copper supply chains. Grid upgrades take time. In many regions, EV adoption is accelerating faster than infrastructure reinforcement. When that happens, friction appears, higher electricity rates during peak hours, longer charging queues, urban load stress, regional bottlenecks. Combustion doesn't disappear in that environment, it becomes redundancy. And redundancy inside uncertain systems always commands a premium, because redundancy protects continuity. Then there's politics. Energy policy is never static. Elections shift direction, subsidies expand and contract. Deadlines get revised, enforcement intensity changes. Some leadership pushes aggressive oil expansion. Others accelerate electrification timelines. Industry leaders innovate rapidly, yet acknowledge grid and infrastructure constraints. Transitions stretch, phases overlap, rollouts stall and restart. Every delay extends the lifespan of combustion engines already on the road. And when lifespan extends inside a fixed supply system, valuation dynamics shift. slowly at first, then noticeably. So, what happens to the used market? This is where psychology changes. When production officially ends, the used market becomes the only market. The collectors understand this phenomenon well. Final generation production runs often surge in value once manufacturing stops. Now, imagine that effect applied to entire engine categories. No more new heavy-duty V8 trucks. No more new naturally aspirated performance platforms. No more new legacy combustion drivetrains. At first, pricing moves gradually, then inventory tightens, then buyers compete. Low-mileage examples become rare. Clean service history becomes leverage. Well-maintained work trucks stop depreciating the way they used to. The sentence, "they don't make these anymore," changes negotiation power instantly. Scarcity becomes visible, and visible scarcity reprices markets. But discipline matters. Not every engine wins. This is not blind optimism. Weak platforms fade. Engines with poor reliability histories will not magically become assets. Overcomplicated luxury models with high maintenance costs may struggle. Oversupplied economy vehicles remain replaceable. Scarcity rewards strength. The engines that hold value share specific traits: proven reliability records, high torque capability, strong aftermarket ecosystems, wide parts availability, mechanical simplicity. Rebuild potential. Durability under stress becomes the defining factor. Not hype, not branding. Performance under real-world conditions. Mechanical autonomy becomes strategic. Modern vehicles are increasingly software-controlled. Features are subscription-based. Updates alter functionality remotely. Battery degradation creates long-term uncertainty. Replacement costs can be substantial. Combustion engines operate differently. They are physical systems. Parts can be replaced individually. Independent mechanics can rebuild them. Control is not centralized through software licensing. That mechanical autonomy becomes strategically valuable in a digital ecosystem. It's not anti-electric, it's pro-optionality, and optionality is powerful during transitional eras because it reduces dependency risk. Timing is where most people get it wrong. Right now, the dominant narrative says gas is finished. That perception suppresses pricing. When consensus leans heavily in one direction, markets often misprice assets. Opportunities appear when perception diverges from structural reality. Once production officially freezes and supply visibly tightens, repricing accelerates. Dealers adjust upward. Our private sellers hold firm. Clean inventory disappears faster. Fleet operators extend usage cycles. By the time mainstream awareness catches up, positioning is already complete. Markets reward anticipation, not reaction. Oil cycles amplify the effect. Oil pricing moves in waves. Spikes increase EV interest. Stability restores combustion comfort. Electricity rate increases shift charging economics. Geopolitical stress elevates energy security concerns. Now layer those cycles over a permanently capped combustion supply after 2035. Demand fluctuates. Supply does not. That imbalance creates upward pressure on durable platforms during certain cycles, especially work trucks, commercial platforms, long-range high-torque engines. The strongest platforms become the pressure valves. Infrastructure gaps. Extend the timeline. Urban electrification will likely advance faster than rural regions. Heavy-duty sectors transition slower than passenger vehicles. Developing regions adopt at different speeds. In those gaps, combustion remains dominant longer. Vehicles that operate independently of charging infrastructure retain practical superiority. Functionality preserves demand. Demand sustains value, and sustained demand inside fixed supply environments creates appreciation pressure. The transition will not be linear. Internal combustion will not dominate forever. Battery technology will improve. Charging networks will expand. Adoption will rise. Now, the final reality. The 2035 ban is not about extinction. It is about limitation. It ends unlimited internal combustion manufacturing. From that moment forward, why every existing engine becomes part of a finite mechanical pool. Add geopolitical volatility, add oil market instability, add grid expansion delays, add political uncertainty, add infrastructure gaps. You do not get immediate disappearance. You get constrained supply in a world that still requires mobility. Certain engines, durable, high torque, mechanically proven platforms, transition from depreciating tools to strategic assets. That is the loophole. Gas cars are not dead in 2035. They become limited, and limited supply, when combined with persistent demand, does not fade quietly. It reprices. 2035 is not just a year, it is a structural shift in supply mechanics. When production freezes, perception eventually follows. Some platforms will fade, others will strengthen. The difference will be durability, demand, and timing. Positioning happens before headlines adjust. Understanding happens before pricing reacts. If you recognize structural scarcity early, you move differently. If you wait for confirmation, you compete inside a tighter, more expensive market. Stay ahead of the narrative, because the biggest shifts rarely look dramatic at first, they look underestimated, and by the time they look obvious, they're already repriced. If you want deeper breakdowns like this, where policy, energy, infrastructure, and market psychology intersect, subscribe. Because the next major supply shift won't announce itself loudly, it will reward the prepared quietly.